Lady wears ring for over 30 years, then realizes she's a millionaire. She knew it was love at first sight. A Londoner we will call Susie to protect her identity was on her normal walk through the busy flea market, strolling past different booths. Everything seemed to look pretty old and worn out, and with only a couple of dollars in her pocket, she wanted her purchase to be special. As she was looking at a necklace on one of the tables, she couldn't help but notice a huge ring sparkle in the corner of her eye. She turned to the ring and knew she had to have it. The lady knew it was more than just junk. Susie wanted to get herself something beautiful and luxurious. While she knew it looked like something she could never afford, she wanted it because it meant more to her than just some pile of junk. So Susie picked up the ring and thought for a moment as it resonated with her, but something didn't seem just right. Nevertheless, Susie felt incredibly drawn to the luxurious ring and remembered it made her feel like a princess. The ring sat on a mount that was of huge size. The whole piece looked like jewelry from a fairy tale, and the woman knew that she had to have it. A piece of jewelry that not only she loved with all her heart but would serve as a reminder that if she worked hard she would buy a real diamond someday. Little did Susie know that things were about to get strange. She pulled out the last remaining $13 of money on the memorable ring. Every day Susie wore the ring, everywhere she went. Some time had passed, and her reminder was still by her side. Coming from a humble background, she didn't need much else, so she kept this piece close to her. It made her feel like a princess, even 30 years later. But one day, a strange trip to the grocery store turned her life upside down. Who is this man and why is he looking at me like that? One gorgeous sunny afternoon, on her way home from work, Susie stopped at a nearby grocery store. She grabbed the groceries she needed and headed to the checkout line. While Susie was waiting, she could not help but notice a stranger staring at her hand. She thought this was very strange, but she tried not to be paranoid and continued waiting in the grocery line. What she didn't realize was that the strange, mysterious man was not going to let her out of his sight, not for a moment. The man wouldn't stop staring at her ring. Her turn finally came up, and she quickly paid for her products and headed for the door, still noticing the glare of the man following her every move. She quickly became suspicious and feared for the worst. What did the mysterious man want? And how could Susie lose him in the crowd? Susie quickly walked toward her car, aware that the man was still following her. She tried to keep him in her vision as she tried to lose him in the crowd, but she couldn't shake him. She wondered what he wanted from her, or was she just being paranoid? Then, the gap between her and him closed and she felt him right behind her. She spun around to confront him, and then he said something that completely baffled her. With nowhere to turn, she turned quickly to the mystery man. He had followed her because something about her costume jewelry had caught his eye. And then he asked her something that left her questioning everything. The man was fixated on the ring on her finger. As Susie turned to leave, she heard the man yell, "It doesn't belong to you." But she just wanted to get home, so she didn't give the strange man another thought until later. The woman always had her trusty reminder on her finger, but one day she was in such a hurry that she forgot to put the ring. It had become a ritual for her to wake up and put the ring on her finger, her reminder of a real diamond one day. But not that day. She was in a hurry. She was going to be late, and as she hurried out the door, forgetting the ring, she didn't think much of it till she held onto the subway pole for balance. The ring was so incredibly valuable to her that she got off on the next stop and headed back to her house. "I can't believe I left it at home," she thought, and more so, after being so paranoid about the man at the grocery store. As she climbed the stairs in a panic, she started into her bedroom. She first thought to look for the ring where she had always kept it. Nothing. It was not there. She knew she should have been more careful. Breaths ragged and harsh thoughts, she turned as she raced for her kitchen downstairs. Still no ring. As she entered her master bathroom, there it was, her reminder. The ring sat next to the sink, shining prettier than ever. She had put it there to remind herself to put it back on after brushing her hair. All she could think about was the strange man who had Susie in a constant panic over her ring. The strange encounter with the man at the grocery store had been enough for her to take the ring to Sotheby's London. Maybe they could answer her questions and relieve her anxiety. She wondered if it belonged to someone famous. The ring was old, the silver had tarnished, and it was rather worn, but what secrets was it hiding? A couple of anxious days later, she would finally know the truth. The suspense over the next couple of days was killing her. What if all of this was a scam devised by the mysterious strange man who wanted it? Then, Sotheby's Jewelry in London confirmed the stone's authenticity. It turned out that her ring was a giant, 26-carat cushion-shaped white diamond from the 19th century. Susie couldn't believe what she was hearing. They had made a mistake, she thought. Sotheby's had all the answers. Stacey Wyndham, who heads the auction house's jewelry department, explained that a ring of such value was probably owned by someone in the royal family in the 19th century. With an old style of cutting, an antique cushion shape, the light doesn't reflect as much as it would from a modern stone cutting. The antique shape and older style had disguised its true brilliance for all those years. We confirmed that it was indeed a diamond. Mrs. Wyndham told Susie that the ring could go for as much as $450,000 if it were to be auctioned. They came in with the idea that it might be real, and they had no idea of its value, Wyndham added. Susie knew she was now living a real fairy tale when she recalled standing at the flea market tears earlier. That is what caught her attention. Having led a life from paycheck to paycheck, another person's junk was her treasure and had just changed her life. The ring was sent to auction and got sold for a staggering amount, $950,000. Not only did this great little possessions auction make her life a whole lot easier, but she finally knew that she had been a princess all along. Susie could now afford that diamond ring she had always wanted. I bet we'll all think twice about costume jewelry a little different now.